What if your money problems didn't start with your first credit card or your first financial bad decision? What if they started in your childhood home where the instability was invisible and never discussed, and you absorbed the silence as the lesson? My name's Gerald and I am money drunk. Yesterday, I had this brilliant conversation with my uncle, and he recalled coming to visit us. He and his family would drive up from New Jersey, and he would come and visit us up in Connecticut, up in Fairfield County. And he noticed the beautiful home that we were living in, this beautiful 3-bedroom home, and the kids playing out in the swing set in the backyard. And he noticed that we never unpacked our suitcases because a year or two later, we would invariably move. We had everything growing up. I grew up skiing and playing tennis, and it was really interesting because I distinctly remember my parents sat us down and we were going to go to private school. We were enrolled in private school, a local boarding school. I was a day student. But the very next year, we ended up moving again. I moved 6 times in the same town over a 15-year period from the time I was born to the time I was 15 years old. I moved 6 times. And never once was it discussed that we were moving. All of a sudden, we were buying a new house and we were moving. And that always seemed very normal to us. Again, we had everything. We had food in the fridge. And like I said, I was taking these tennis lessons, going on ski vacations, enrolling in private school. But meanwhile, all this time, there was this financial chaos going on in the background. I didn't really notice it until a couple of years ago that, hey, this isn't normal. This isn't what everybody does, or this isn't how everyone grew up. It was also kind of strange as well, too, because, my mother, she kept quiet because she was planning for her future. She was studying and planning for her future. And my dad, he was definitely there, and he was there for us, but he was checked out. He was always there reading a book and watching TV, or watching TV and doing more work that he brought home from work. So he was never really there. He was never really present for us. And we never had that conversation about, hey, this is what's going on, and this is why we're doing it. Or even, hey, this is what's going on. He kept it quiet. He kept that financial shame to himself. And listen, I love my father. I love my mother. I love my parents very, very much. It's not their bad money habits so much that I inherited, but it was the silence that I inherited. And this is the cycle that I'm trying to break. Instead of trying to hide in the shame and not wanting to talk about these money issues, this financial shame and this financial anxiety, I'm here and I'm talking about it. I'm bringing it into the forefront. I talk to my children about it as well, too. I let them know exactly what's going on and why it's happening. And yeah, it's demoralizing. Yeah, I feel that shame, that deep financial shame. But I know I need to be honest with them, maybe honest to a fault. But nonetheless, I don't want them wondering why we are all of a sudden moving for whatever reason, because I lost my job and I can't pay the rent, or we have to downsize, or we upsize, but now we have to go back. Whatever the reason, I want to let them know exactly what's going on so that they're aware and they're not living in that silence. I remember this quote from this television show, and they said, "Don't talk about money. It's dirty." And I don't want money to be a secret. And especially, I don't want money, those feelings about money, to be a secret either, because they just lead to resentments, and resentments just are unmet expectations and disappointments and lead to so much pain and misery. So that's why I'm choosing to break the pattern. I'm choosing to talk about this every day. I'm choosing to create these YouTube videos where I talk about financial shame, and I talk about financial anxiety and money mindset and money psychology, so that hopefully other people will realize that they're not alone. I know my father felt like he was so alone. The look on his face that he couldn't do anything about the situation, not because he wasn't making enough money. He was making plenty of money. He had a fantastic job with a Fortune 100 company. It wasn't because he didn't have the job or the skills to get out of the financial situation. It was that he had no one to talk to. Everybody else in the water that we were swimming in, they were all doing the same thing. They had the 3-bedroom house in the suburbs, and we were playing tennis with them, and we were going on ski vacations with them. But somehow my dad had missed something, and he was left there, and he didn't have anyone to talk to about it. I think one of the most painful things for me is that silence was passed down onto me, and I'm trying to break that cycle. So if any of this makes sense to you, if you resonate with any of this, if your story is somehow different but the feelings are very similar, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button and schedule a call with me. I'd love to talk about these issues with you. Find out what money blocks are stopping you from taking the steps in your life that you know that you want to do in order to find your success. So join me on this journey as I continue to get money sober. Thanks for hearing my origin story.